Did that not work? There we go. All right. Here we are. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Here we are. Testing 1 2. Testing 1. All right. We're going old school today on YouTube, guys. I've got my new phone, and it's not connected to my computer like I thought it was, so I don't have time to fix it now. But that's okay. Okay. Hey, guys, welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm still setting up since I had this little issue here.
Take a look at this document. All
right, we're coming on the air. I need like 2 more minutes, but we'll get through it. All right, yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. Oh, my goodness, I'm having all kinds of technical issues as the show starts today, but that's okay. The show must go on. All right, we've got a lot to cover. My name is Brian Craig. You, of course, are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47, soon to be 48 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover, and just a few minutes ago, I changed my mind about what I was going to start with today. Because I think it's important. If you're on hold, stand by. There's some things we got to cover before we start taking calls. Okay, I wanted to talk about first, this is not what I was going to lead with. I was going to lead with something else, which I'll get to in a bit anyway. But I want to start with this sentencing of Laken Riley yesterday. And what got me to switch what I was going to start with today, on the way in, those of you that follow me on YouTube, I always am doing live shows and videos and streams on YouTube. And sometimes when I'm driving in the morning to the radio station, I will do one. And I did a live stream this morning, and I was talking about Laken Riley. And I wanted to let me play this. This is the judge in the Laken Riley case yesterday sentencing this scumbag to prison.
Count 1, malice murder. I find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. I find the defendant guilty. Count 3, felony murder, I find the defendant guilty. Count 4, felony murder, I find the defendant guilty. Count 5, kidnapping with bodily injury, I find the defendant guilty. Count 6, aggravated assault with intent to rape, I find the defendant guilty. Count 7, aggravated battery, I find the defendant guilty. Count 8, obstructing or hindering a 911 call, I find the defendant guilty. Count 9, tampering with evidence, I find the defendant guilty. Count 10, peeping Tom, I find the defendant guilty.
Okay. Pretty harsh sentence, but certainly not as harsh as the sentence that this monster gave to Laken Riley, which was, of course, a death sentence. This is just god-awful. I've never seen a verdict come back so quickly. I don't remember the last time I've seen a high-profile non-jury judge trial before. I know they've happened, but I don't really remember anyone that was high-profile or how fast it came down. There's a few things I want to talk about with this, and I think it's important to talk about. And the first, I want to ask you in this audience a question. I'm going to give out the number, and I'd like you to answer this question at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And my question is this. If Donald Trump had not won re-election 2 weeks ago, and this wino who's drinking in Hawaii right now, Kamala Harris, would have won, would Laken Riley's murderer receive such a harsh sentence? I'm not suggesting he would have been found not guilty if Kamala had won. But was this judge emboldened to stand up and give the harshest sentence possible to this Kamala, Joe Biden dreamer? I think the answer to the question is there would have been a lighter sentence with Kamala Harris if she had won the election, in my opinion. You know, this country has been run by racist, Marxist, freaks and weirdos for the last 4 years, and that's an understatement and an incomplete list. You know, when this Kamala Biden dreamer, and that's what he is, remember, Kamala and Biden not only let this guy into the country, they flew him to Georgia and set him up in Georgia. Laken Riley is dead because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And you know what? They don't care. And if you remember when this crime first happened, what did we hear from the left? What did we hear from Democrats? Top Democrats, by the way. Well, Americans murder people. Yeah, they do. And we're against that too. But there's a difference here. These are all crimes and lives that could have been saved and prevented from being lost. The way I kind of describe it, and maybe this is not the best analogy, but I'm going to use it. I used it this morning when I was doing what I call the pre-show on YouTube. It's like Minority Report, the movie with Tom Cruise that was based on a book written by the same guy that wrote Blade Runner. I can say his name on the air, but I don't want to. It's distracting. Remember Tom Cruise in Minority Report? He was with this federal agency called the Bureau of Pre-Crime, and they had these psychics. Science fiction movie. They had these psychics. They could see crime before it happened, and they would arrest people for crimes they had not yet committed. Remember that? Well, that's kind of like this is. The Border Patrol, the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, are like the Bureau of Pre-Crime, like in Minority Report with Tom Cruise. These crimes can be stopped before they happen. Not only are they not being stopped before they happen, these twisted, sicko Democrats knowingly are allowing this to happen. If it were not for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, not only would Laken Riley be alive, but who knows how many others would not have been victimized. Could you imagine if Kamala Harris would have won, if the Democrats would have won, they would have taken it as a mandate to totally erase our southern border and allow this invasion and colonization of the United States to continue. So my question to you about the Laken Riley case is this. If Kamala Harris would have won the election 2 weeks ago, would this judge have thrown down such a harsh sentence? Or, I'm not saying he would have found him not guilty. He would have found him guilty, but would the sentence have been lighter because the judge would have been afraid? You know, we've had a government the last 4 years that has declared the American people enemy combatants. And that is not an exaggeration. And I'm not talking about just the J6ers. You see what's going on around the country. They were talking, think about this, 3 weeks ago, they were talking about arresting Elon Musk because they can't control the messaging on X. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I want to talk about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. You know, I've got this doorbell camera, change your life. You know, I've been using this because I know people have seen it. And when I talk about the Slomin's doorbell camera, there's video footage that's been circulating for a few months now of the invasion of the Venezuelan gangs in that apartment building in Aurora, Colorado. That video footage that is very high quality and been on television for weeks and weeks, maybe a couple months now, was taken from a doorbell camera from one of the residents. These doorbell cameras are great. I use it all the time. People are always just coming to my door, whether it's a DoorDash delivery, Amazon, or just a door-to-door salesman. You always get a notification on your phone when there's movement at your door, and I see them coming before they know. And it's just a great convenience on top of a security measure. And Slomin's is going to give you a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin Shield. And that's not all. Slomin's are going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call, toll-free, no matter where you're located, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're new to the program, we take the call screenless. So when you call in, we just put you on hold. No one answers the phone, and I'll get to you when I get to you. But there's a lot to talk about. I want you to, if you're calling in now, I'd like to hear your comments on what I brought up so far. After the break, I got another thing I want to touch on, and then we'll go to the phone. So if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, so I got my new phone, and my new iPhone I thought was connected to my computer so I could live stream like I normally do, but it's not, so I'm going old school on my live streaming, so you're not going to be able to see the videos today. But I'll get that worked out probably today, if not today, tomorrow. I cannot believe it is Thursday. This entire week has just been a blur. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Hey.
Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at reporterroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Well, Laura, a lot of people ask.
Back in a second.
What are the healthcare documents I need? These are the topics and much, much more that we will be discussing, and I look forward to having you join us at our upcoming workshop, where not only will you get an education to help you learn what you need to know to protect yourself and your family and gain peace of mind, but by coming, you are also entitled to a discount certificate that can reduce the cost of protecting your family and your loved ones as well. Come join us. Look forward to seeing you.
The next workshop with Barry Siegel of the Siegel Law Group is Tuesday, December 3rd at 10 a.m. at the Siegel Law Group's main office in Boca. To reserve your spot, call toll-free 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
Alrighty, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Flow Rider's longest running radio show. All right, so we're talking about Laken Riley. This is Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, on Laura Ingraham last night. Let me play this. This is the right man for the job. No freaking doubt about that.
You know, Laura, a lot of people ask me why I get so emotional when I do Fox News and why I scream at members of Congress. Because I've seen so much tragedy. I've talked to hundreds of angels and moms and dads who buried their children because they're killed by illegal alien. This is the latest. You know, I've talked to little girls as young as 9 years old that were raped multiple times by members of cartel. When you look in her eyes and everything innocent and pure has been ripped from her soul, and her life will never be the same. I mean, it's just I'm tired of it, and the government failed the Laken Riley family. Not only if President Trump was president, he'd be sitting in Mexico in the Remain in Mexico program. And if he did get to New York and he was arrested for injury to a child in New York, ICE would be able to arrest him because the priorities under Trump were if you're in the country illegally, you're a target. But because Secretary Mayorkas put the priorities so low, even the injury to the child didn't meet the standards, so ICE could even place a detainer on him. So this is purely, it could have been prevented. This young lady's dead, and I want every mayor, every governor of a sanctuary jurisdiction to listen to that tape, listen to this young girl fight for her life, fight for her breath, trying to survive, terrified. I want you to understand what she went through. Like the 9-year-old boy, the 5-year-old boy in the back of the tractor trailer that I held, I found him dead, baked to death. I thought about what the last hour of his life was like. You need to listen to this tape. And for those governors and mayors that are saying they're going to stop Tom Homan, they're going to stop President Trump, shame on you. Your responsibility is to protect your communities, and that's what we want to do, is protect your community.
Yeah, exactly. That's protect our communities and our women. You know, the first Trump rally I went to was in Boca, and before President Trump came out, a woman came up, an angel mom. Her son was a high school student. He wasn't just murdered by an illegal. He was murdered on the way to school by an illegal. He was 17 or 16. I don't know how it happened, but and the illegal, after he murdered this woman, and she told the whole story in chilling detail. She's on the stage just before Trump got there, and she's crying. And this illegal, after he killed this boy, threw him in a dumpster and lit it on fire. Burned his body. And this lunatic liberal lady in front of me, I didn't know she was liberal, she said, "You mother effing liar! You shut the F up, you racist mother..." I'm not kidding. In front of me. And then these two security guys in plain clothes came out of nowhere, and they picked her up and carried her away. What a sick, twisted woman. I've talked many times when I was a child. A friend of mine was murdered by two illegals in Belgrade here in Florida. He was older than me, so he would be close to 60 years old now. Probably be a grandfather, and he was murdered when he was like 19 by 2 illegals here in Florida, in Belglade. It was a brutal murder, too. This happens all the time. And the Democrats think we should suck it up. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? And anyone who is opposing Homan, Hegseth, Matt Gaetz, or any other Trump appointee, screw you and put their name on a list. And never forget. President Trump is putting together, in every appointment that he makes, the right person for the job. Who's going to do the right thing. Isn't it nice? Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good to see people being appointed to government that care about America and the American people? A great announcement yesterday, great pick yesterday, Whitaker as the U.S. ambassador to NATO. Whitaker was the acting attorney general, remember, with Trump at the end of the first term. Great guy. You've seen him on TV so many times. Tough guy. Trump's sitting him over there as the ambassador to NATO to get them under control. NATO was set up by President Truman after World War II, and the first general in charge of NATO was Eisenhower. The purpose of NATO in the beginning was to avoid another world war in Europe. Europe gave us 2 world wars. A lot of historians believe World War I and World War II were the same war. I agree with that, by the way. But regardless, how many tens of millions have died because of those European wars, right? 1 and 2. That's why NATO was there. Stop another world war in Europe, particularly with the Soviet Union, Russia. Now, look what's happened to NATO. These scumbuckets in NATO, with the aid of Joe Biden and a bunch of scumbuckets here in this country, NATO is no longer trying to prevent the Third World War. They are actively trying to begin the Third World War, and they're trying to do it quick so it's happening and Trump can't stop it. Why? So they can get money. These European government leaders are just as bad as ours. They're trying to think about this. I want you to think about this. We've got the American government right now, Biden, Kamala, and these lowlives, overseeing Invasion USA with the border. NATO is trying to start a world war, possibly even a nuclear conflict, on their own continent. Why? For money. Think about that. And I'm listening to these jerks on television try to undermine the picks of President Trump. President Trump is working very actively to save people like Laken Riley and others and stop nuclear war. All of you people with your green crap. How's a war of any kind, conventional or nuclear, for the environment? It's not too good. These people are sickos, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll take calls after the break. And I want to remind people, Open Phones is Friday, tomorrow, not today. Okay, today's Thursday. Open Phones is on Friday, which is tomorrow. And we call it Open Maga Mike Friday. And for those that are new, Monday, and hey, listen, I got this from Rush. Rush is the greatest, so why not do what he did, right? Monday through Thursday, and today's Thursday, you got to talk about the topics we bring up. And on Fridays, the show preps up to you guys. So when I go to the phones, stick to what I brought up. And I got a lot more to bring up, too. I've only just begun. But I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton has changed my life, people. He's rid me of pain 6 times. And I'm talking about serious pains. When I went in and I had that pain in my finger, I thought I jammed my finger. Like you ever play basketball, you jam your finger? I thought I jammed my finger. And one of them says, Brian, you got arthritis. And I said, oh, man. He gave me an exam. He said, it's arthritis. I said, I'm screwed. Because, the pain from arthritis. Oh my goodness. I was almost in tears. I was in so much pain. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was, he treated me with the laser wave pain treatment. My arthritis pain in my finger gone, and it has not returned, and that's been about a year. His laser wave pain treatment works. It works. It's 100% painless. There's no injections, no shots, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery, none of that. By the way, if you've been told you need surgery, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. Maybe you need the surgery, but why not go see Dr. Appleton and try out the laser wave pain treatment first? He's rid me of some very serious pains 6 times. Different parts of my body, sometimes with the aging, like the arthritis, sometimes from injuries, like the skateboard accidents and such. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. Remember, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are always welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. And Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, by the way. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
Morning radio great again. You're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane.
If you're on hold, hang in there. These Democrats are just freaking sick. Just freaking sick. There's just no other way to say it. They're just sick.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, True Oldies Traffic Check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Lane Break crash free on the Turnpike in 95 north and south through Dublin, East Boynton Beach, North and West Palm. Palm Beach Gardens construction on the Beeline Highway from West Greenhair Boulevard to North Lake Boulevard. This traffic update is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers. That's traffic. I'm going down.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime at PBKC. Get your tickets today for paddock live events, including incredible dinner shows with Penny Hicks this Friday night, November 22nd. Then Christmas with the Rat Pack and Single.
Now, guys, I've pinned in the chat room the link to my second channel where I vlog. So if you guys could check that out and subscribe to that channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. I put up a new vlog yesterday, and many more will be coming. My Main Street Moments channel. If you could just check that out and subscribe to that channel, I'd appreciate it, guys. Yeah, those of you, I'm not, it says I got my new phone. It's not connected to my computer to live stream on my computer, so you guys aren't going to be able to see the video today. I'll get it connected today or tomorrow. My daughter, I'll call my daughter in Los Angeles. I don't know if she's busy today, if she can help me do it, but we call my daughter tech support. She handles all that stuff for us. So I got to get her on the phone. I thought I had it working, but I didn't.
Medicare recipients, listen up. Open enrollment is the only time of year you can make changes to your existing Medicare plan. Call Debbie at iRule Advisors, no matter where you're located in the state of Florida.
If you guys could subscribe to my second channel, I'd appreciate it. The link is pinned in the chat if you're watching live. Oh, Dr. Appleton's number? Absolutely. Somebody just asked me for Dr. Appleton's link. I'm going to post it in the chat right now. AppletonCairo.com. That's Dr. Appleton's link. AppletonCairo.com. There's one opening on the board. No, every line is lit.
Create delicious, novel, exciting dishes. Make every evening a celebration at Cafe Chardonnay. Located in Palm Beach Gardens, over PGA Boulevard and Military Trail. Call 561-627-2662. 561-627-2662.
Here we go.
Online at cafechardonnay.com. And be sure to enjoy a glass of wine from Cafe Chardonnay's legendary wine cellar.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right. Someone during the break asked me for Dr. Appleton's website, AppletonCairo.com. Did I not say it in the spot? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. AppletonCairo.com. And guys, make sure you tell Dr. Appleton I said hi. He's a good friend of mine. We text a lot, Dr. Appleton and I. Every line on the board is lit. I'm going to go to the phones. But I want to keep a strict, open phones is Friday. Today's Thursday. I am going to bring some other things up, but I haven't yet. Wanted to hear your thoughts on the Laken Riley incident and sentencing. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Isaac from Maine.
Hey, Isaac.
So, yeah, at first, I'm jealous of the weather down there. It's freaking cold up here. Secondly, about the Laken Riley thing. I feel like on one hand, the judge could have gone lighter, but I'm not sure how much lighter could the guy have gone?
Well, he convicted him of a lot of other things, like peeping Tom and such like that. So what I'm telling you is, what I believe, the sentence was, I think that I'm opposed to the death penalty, okay? But in this instant, I'm pro-life. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. I'm strongly pro-life. I'm opposed to the death penalty. But this is an incident where I'd have no problem giving the death penalty to this guy for what he did. But I believe that if Kamala would have won 2 weeks ago, the guy would have been found guilty by the judge, but the sentence wouldn't have been as harsh. Because there was a tone in the country that this is the illegals' country, not ours. Yes, all right, I guess you're out of material. All right, take care. You've been on hold 32 minutes. You're thinking of something more to say. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on today, Brian?
Not much. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Wisconsin.
Hey, what's up?
Rest of it I know. Oh, it's like you were sitting there talking about earlier that, with the border and everything else. And
is this Gary? Is this Gary?
This is, Brian.
Oh, my goodness. Long time no hear. Gary from Wisconsin. How you been? Haven't talked in ages.
Yeah, we're good. We got some snow going down here right now currently, which I'll probably be showing that later on. But
okay.
Going on with this border and everything, it's like I'm glad that finally Trump is back in office or going to be in office because, at least then we're going to have some control of the border. People are going to be actually, have the freedom of basically sleeping at night and not have to worry about if somebody in their family might end up getting murdered by somebody that came across that border. So, the picks that Trump has been doing, I'm glad he's making these picks so that hopefully it makes our...
Well, the picks are perfect. Barry wants to do it at 6:45.
They have been, because I've been getting steadily picks or notifications from RSBN for everything that he's been doing and stuff, and it was like, that's a good pick.
Well, what's happened is, this country has been terrorized. We have been governed for the last 4 years. I said this at the top of the hour. The Biden-Harris regime has declared the American people enemy combatants. And if you look at the way they're treating us, and this conviction yesterday, a very harsh conviction of the murderer of Laken Riley, sends a very strong message. There's a new sheriff in town. His name's Donald John Trump. Well, Wisconsin Gary, good to hear from you. Haven't talked. I don't know if we talked in a few years. Yeah, he used to call all the time. Okay, just wherever it was going to be later. I don't know. We'll talk during the break. But we'll do okay. Figure it out. I don't know. We're doing some behind the scenes stuff, guys. There's one opening on the board. Okay. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Joe from Hollywood. First, before I get to this topic, I want to say we're a close-knit group. I'm talking about Les of South Miami, Mark the Jets fan. We're good friends with Richie the bus driver. He's probably listening right now. He'll probably be calling in.
I'd be shocked if you were a friend of Richie the bus driver. And you're trying, listen. We're talking about important things on the air. Excuse me. We're talking about important topics. I don't have time for weirdos and clowns. Goodbye. Oh my! Is that guy a friend of yours?
No. Listen, Brian. I know I heard your tone this morning. You're very upset over all this crap. You're upset with the way that everything has gone in the past. I'm going to say something. I got triggered by you this morning, and you triggered me because you used to be a flaming liberal, and you've turned almost 100% conservative. You're just lacking that one little thing. I watched that trial. I watched every videotape. I watched the torture that woman went through. 22 years old, alone in the woods with this animal. If you were to tell me to hear you say he got harsh treatment, man, I would push the button for the death penalty.
Oh no, of course. I did. Listen, I said. I said, even though I'm opposed to the death penalty, I'd have no problem giving this guy the death penalty, Richie. I said that.
President Trump said any illegal that kills an American, he wants to pass a law that they get the death.
And I agree with that. So no, I'm not. I mean, this has gotten out of control. And oh yeah, absolutely.
People that are certain heinous.
But listen, Nicholas Cruz, for those that don't know, he's the Parkland shooter at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. The school board of Broward County and the twisted superintendent of Broward County and the administrators of that school are responsible for those murders of those babies at that school. And by the way, all these kids that run around and make a living off of it say, I survived! They were like 2 blocks away. That Nicholas Cruz killed 9th graders. Those are 14-year-old babies. And the liberals allowed Nicholas Cruz to continue with what he was doing. Same thing with these illegals. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are accessories to the murder of Laken Riley, as far as I'm concerned.
100%. And let me tell you another thing. You brought up this crazy man in the White House and this drunk in Hawaii. And I have no use for these people. To let them actually, United States people have to be behind those rockets because Ukrainians don't know how to use the equipment. So we directly are involved.
And plus, everything's computerized. It's all in English. They speak and read Ukrainian, not English. And here's the thing, though. Okay, when we get to what's going on at the border, let me tell you, this country was saved 2 weeks ago by Donald Trump in ways that I don't think most people really fully realize, because things have been so fast paced and haven't had time to soak it up. But when Laken Riley was murdered by this Kamala Biden dreamer, okay, what did they say? Well, how many Americans kill people? Yeah, we're against that too, but we don't bring the murder. And I watched the opening. Of this, and when they went through with, well, he was hunting for anybody that he could rape that day. But when they showed how her athletic bracelet that was monitoring her heart stopped, and that was her time of death, I mean, I was like, I was physically ill. And Kamala doesn't give a you know what about it.
They never gave her. They never gave the mother a phone call in sympathy. There were.
I heard someone say on X, she should have just let herself be raped. She would have survived. First of all, it was on X. I couldn't believe. Here's the thing. These guys kill the victims, so they can't identify them later. She would have died anyway. She was not raped. She fought to stop it. She sacrificed her life to prevent it. But my goodness, I mean, there's a if you ever seen Unforgiven, you ever see Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood? He says, when you kill a man, you take everything he's got, everything he's had, and everything he's going to have. Think about what was taken away from Laken Riley, her entire life.
Her sister, her mother. I watched when the mother was told and the father was told that the sister, that she was dead. I mean, I would push that button. I'm going to tell you something. I don't think they should even let this guy take one other.
Wow. And I watched this thing. He had zero remorse. But you know what? Kamala Harris has no remorse either. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right, Richie, I gotta run. We're gonna check in with early today, Attorney Barry Siegel, and we'll do that after my Attorney Barry Siegel. How you doing?
Great. How are you today?
Great. A little early for you today.
Yeah, a little earlier today. I thank you for accommodating me. I have
of course.
Starts at 7 and
well, that's good.
Yeah, so we are upon one of my favorite holidays. A week from today, our Thanksgiving. It's a day where we think about things we're grateful for. And it's also a day that we have a nice family time. We meet with our family, some friends. And sometimes those family members are flying in or coming in to see us here, or we're going to see them there. And this may be the one time that you have the whole family together, all of the kids, the grandkids. And sometimes that's a joyful time. Sometimes it's a stressful time. And when it comes to that, it really brings up thoughts of, what do I have in my plan? What happens when I'm not here anymore with all of these people I love? And sometimes you may have your estate plan set up. Maybe this one child, you loan them money and they owe you money, and so now your estate plan is set up so it's, or maybe you need to set it up so that it will account for that. Maybe you left more money to one child than another because this one is very well off and this one needs more help, or this one has special needs. There's all kinds of things that you may have done in the past that maybe it's time to rethink those. Maybe what you did in the past is absolutely correct. Maybe not. Maybe the choices you made for your fiduciaries may need to be reevaluated as well. So it's a good time when you're sitting there with everybody. Sometimes you want to talk these issues over with your family, with your kids, and get them involved in the process. And there's other people who, no, that's not none of their business. They'll find out when the time comes. I'm not going to talk to them or get their input on it. So just, I wish everyone a happy holiday. And, it's a time to reflect, a time for gratitude, and time to think about what you're planning.
Yeah, and since we don't usually talk to you this early, there may be a lot of people in the audience that don't get to hear your calls, live, that may be up earlier. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. And it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, guys. So make sure you take advantage. We'll give you the number in a moment. And also, when we're in holiday, because, we've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, we've got the Jewish holiday, families, the makeup changes. There's divorces and remarriages and children and grandchildren, and situations change. And there's all kinds of things you're going to see during the holiday period that you might want to say, maybe I need to update. I already have a trust, but maybe it needs to be updated. The Siegel Law Group will review your will, your trust, whatever you have, at no charge. Okay, they'll review it at no charge. So I'm going to give the number to the Siegel Law Group, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hard Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. Talk about amazing kielbasa. They have a variety of Polish sausage, bacons, British cheeses, ham and pork loins, even Polish hot dogs.
What time would he have called in today? Okay. Oh, great, thanks.
Hi, I'm Swansea. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833 all year. That's 833 all year.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you know trust and experience are two big qualities to look for. And it turns out, my friend Jupiter Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to JupiterJoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Chris from Pamela.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
No, hey, great show. I should say, unfortunately, but I love the things you brought up. That, in fact, you can talk about that the rest of the month with just a little show prep you've shared with us so far. The audacity of political leaders that we currently have for a couple more weeks, politicizing anything like this sort of death. To answer your question, the sentence obviously would have been a little bit more nonchalant because of what's happened. I mean, look what they did. Anytime someone mentioned murder, and there they would go grouping the whole.
The Democrats feel this is their attitude. They act as if these people are entitled to come here and rape and murder and pillage. I'm serious. This is the thing. The Democrat Party is being run by anarchists who are operating for foreign interests to destroy and bring down America. Sometimes, when you hear me talk to callers from other countries, like there was that idiot from Africa yesterday, Zimbabwe, but I've had this conversation with many people from other countries. The United States is the only country that if it disappeared today, the world would miss it. You could take any other country in the world and remove it from existence today, and the world would maybe have, depending on which one, might have a speed bump for a bit, but the world would be fine. If the United States disappeared, the entire planet would collapse financially, and there would be global war. And what's going on here is China, that has bought and paid for the Republican establishment, Mitch McConnell's and the Democrats, have been actively working to bring down the United States. This entire southern border operation is China, as is all this gender stuff that was promoted through TikTok. I've talked about this a lot in the last couple years. There's a Cold War going on, a propaganda war, and also a hot war with the southern border with China against us. Okay, it started 4 years ago. And if the Democrats would have won re-election, that would have been it for this country. Donald Trump's re-election has saved America. And all these issues that people talk about, my preferred pronouns, and I've got a penis, but I'm going to the girls' room. These are all fake issues to keep Americans at each other's throats, to help bring us down.
By the way, that was a great segment the other day with Zimbabwe, and 100%, we are being lobbied like nobody's business to tear this country down, distract, and whether they realize it or not, they need us to be strong because I don't know, they're operating assuming the strength is going to continue, and it's just not with open borders and all this chaos that these people, or I should say political leaders, are selling their souls for. And they're trying to sell us down to twos, but there's powerful lobbies.
It's mainly China. Like, I give you an example. You know, yesterday, or day before yesterday, President Trump went with Elon Musk, the first bud, and for the launch of that SpaceX rocket. That is the largest rocket to launch ever, larger than even the Saturn rockets that sent the astronauts to the moon, okay? And Obama shut down the American-made space program. The shuttle was being retired, and there was a replacement vehicle that NASA had to replace the shuttle. Obama stopped it. And the reason he stopped it is because he did not want America to be dominant, which is our space program. And here you have President Trump with his best friend, Elon Musk, who's planning setting up colonies on Mars and these rockets and this great innovation where he can land it back on the launch pad and all this stuff. You know, this rocket yesterday, or day before, there was a malfunction, so it couldn't land on the launch pad. Listen to the smile in the voice of these leftists that the rocket didn't land on the launch pad, that it landed in the ocean. They're so excited they think there was a failure for America, because that's a rocket. They're like jazzed up. Oh, it didn't make it to the launch pad. These are sickos.
100%, and you're going to hear more of the same with the little things, like all the great things President Trump is going to continue to do. You'll look at some little small details, say, aha. But and these are grown men. These are adults behaving this way. This is horrible, but you know what? They've been exposed, and it's never about just this current election cycle. I'm so glad you mentioned a big picture by even bringing back the NATO. By the way, great pick. But you know, the purpose of NATO from the beginning with Truman, and to now, it's snowballed, and they're losing sight because of these horrible leaders we get put in from time to time. Or I'll go ahead and say, every Democrat administration.
Yeah. Well, hey, and the Republican establishment. You know, yesterday, Mike Johnson said you have to be a man to use the men's room. He released a statement. There was another congressman who said my preferred pronouns are, what was it, we won or something? I can't remember. But the Republicans, for the first time, when we've won, are acting like they've won. In the past, when Republicans have won, when we had these Paul Ryans and Romneys and McConnells and these jerks around, the first thing they do is they divide up all the congressional committees evenly, 50-50 with the Democrats, concede everything and all this stuff. This is the first time in my lifetime. Now, again, I was a kid when President Reagan was president, and so I can't, you know, but he didn't have the Congress like this, okay? But this is the first time that the Republicans have acted like they won the election after they've won it. This has never happened before.
I'm glad you brought up that point. They rarely mention that Reagan's greatness also included dealing with a majority, Democrat Congress, which, I mean, they fought him tooth and nail, of course, but they had to concede to the great decisions he was making. But we need this.
If Paul Ryan was the speaker, this Nancy Mace would have to use the lady. This rape survivor, Nancy Mace, would have to be in the ladies' room with a man. If Paul Ryan were the speaker, he wouldn't have done what Mike Johnson did yesterday. I promise you.
Amazing. No, hey, listen, forward to great things coming.
All right. I appreciate the call. Take care. Great call so far today, for the most part. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right. You are out. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Well, here we go. Here we go. These are the disruptors. You guys lost, okay? I mean, yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, that last guy was talking, it's all about New World Order and globalists taking over. America is the last stand for freedom in the world. And Donald Trump had not stepped up and done what he did, we would be in a world of hurt right now, and we wouldn't even be standing in a free country. What President Trump did in 2016 and 2020 by losing, exposing how deep it was, and he's about to expose them all. And we're about to see what Eric Snowden said is the fall of D.C. America taken back to our roots. We are a constitutional republic, and we the people are in charge. And that man right there is, I salute President Trump for what he's done. No man on this planet could have gone through what he's done and still be and fighting these people.
That's right. That's right. No, you're right. I really hope that President Trump runs the government from Mar-a-Lago and just goes to the White House for the special occasions. Make them come to him. Make them come to him and kiss the ring.
That is a great idea, Brian, because I think D.C. needs to be gutted, and they must have so many hidden bugs and all that. I was worried for a while about the rhinos and some other people, but now I believe because he lost in 2020, he has a secure amount of people in the government that's going to be warning him of what they're going to try to do next, because they're going to give up. Right?
Yep. All right, Jeff. I appreciate the call. I'll give you the last word. Oh, no, she didn't want the last word. Okay, that's good. If you're on hold, hang in there. It is, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. It is holiday shopping time. And I don't say holiday in some politically correct way, right? We've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, we've got Hanukkah, we got New Year's, you've got office parties. There's all kinds of things. I got a wedding anniversary coming up. My wife and I, our 28th wedding anniversary is coming up in a couple of short weeks. There's no better place to do your shopping for whoever the recipient is on any of these occasions than MyPillow.com. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, there's incredible deals. The MyPillow My Slippers are normally $119. They're just $59.98 with our promo code Kane. They make great Christmas gifts. They come in every size. There's multiple colors, and they even have the big sizes and wide sizes for the bigger guys, small sizes for children and the ladies, and all kinds of different colors. They make great, great gifts. They're very nice. And, the MyPillow My Slippers are good for all day wear. And when I put them on, when I get home, I can feel the stress leaving my entire body because I'm walking around on my pillows. They're great. But you can take our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and use it on any of the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones that I'm mentioning, and free shipping on orders over $75, okay? So promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with more news and your calls. Don't go anywhere.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Hearn Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024, and right now it's 69 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 76 degrees with partly cloudy conditions to mostly sunny conditions as we go throughout the day. So make sure you stay cool, stay hydrated, and have a wonderful start to your Thursday.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Up to speed and no delays on the Turnpike at 95 north and south through Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, and West Palm. Palm Beach Gardens construction on the Beeline Highway from West Blue Heron Boulevard to North Lake Boulevard,
and construction in Lake Worth Hypoluxo Road from Lyons Road to Smith Farm Boulevard. This traffic update is sponsored by eBay. We all got a thing, yes, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find that thing that keeps you up at night. eBay, things people love. That's traffic. I'm Dory Down.
Very bizarre.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Poker Room with PBKC is open every day with 65 tables of action, including cash games, high hands.
Something happened off the air that you guys don't during the show today, and I just went and filled Mike in.
Just a $5 minimum every day. PBKC is also your best bet for exciting OTB action from Trish and
Okay.
Del Mar and more. For more info, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Solomons and their free home security system and free doorbell
Essentially, that they feared retribution.
Installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloan Shield. And that's not all. Sloan's will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloan Shield.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why when you do any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs for all of our lab work, their techs are highly skilled and
NFL finally came out saying that the Trump dances are okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fine animals and stuff like that. You can't stop it, so I think they're finally
Yeah.
giving in.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Exactly.
There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Any lab test now in Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7 or 41. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention on the radio.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business for 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty. If you're on hold, stand by. We've been talking about the Laken Riley verdict, but I want to bring up something else. Brian Stelter's back on CNN, and this is so strange. You know, MSNBC's Joe Scarborough and Mika, they're in a panic. They're in a panic. In fact, the lead story in the Daily Mail today is let me pull it up. Let me pull this up. Let me see. I don't know if it's still the lead. It was the lead when I first read the paper this morning. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Boy, Morning Joe, he must be very happy. This is the lead story. Petrified Morning Joe's real reason for meeting Trump at Mar-a-Lago is revealed amid a wild conspiracy theory into the host, Joe Scarborough's dead intern, and fears Gates-led retribution. There was a 20-something-year-old intern found dead in Joe Scarborough's office in Florida when he was a congressman. I don't remember if it was his congressional office or campaign office. And there's always been a lot of mystery and conspiracy around it. And by the way, conspiracy doesn't mean that something's not true. I don't know, but there's been a lot of questions about it over the years. And I don't know if that's why they went there. I know MSNBC is going to be sold and broken up. But Brian Stelter was on, let me pull this up. He was on CNN. I don't know why. They get rid of this loser. And then they bring him back, Brian Stelter. And he's a monster. You know who's worse than him, though? His wife. I don't talk about people's wives too much, but Brian Stelter's wife is nastier than him. She runs around, I'm Brian Stelter's wife. Who would brag about that? But anyway, Brian Stelter was on CNN with Scott Jennings last night, and he was talking about this fear in the media that they have of Donald Trump. So this clip here, this is Scott Jennings and Brian Stelter. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones in a bit.
Essentially, that they feared retribution, and that's partly why they sought out this meeting.
What kind of retribution are we talking about here?
You know, I think there's a wide spectrum, and to be fair to Brzezinski and Scarborough, they're not the only MSNBC hosts or the only, the word journalist is complicated, right, because they're more like personalities, but there are a number of journalists at places like the AP and other big news outlets that are concerned about retaliation in the coming months. Anything from IRS audits to lawsuits and things like that. There are media outlets bulking up on lawyers, thinking about having more libel insurance, those sorts of things. Now, I don't know exactly what the specific concern Joe Amica had was or wasn't, but they're not the only MSNBC personalities worried about retaliation. However, they are the only ones to go down to Mar-a-Lago and have a meeting.
Yeah, Scott, you were shaking your head.
I mean, isn't it possible, too, that they're just two people who think are so full of themselves, so full of self-aggrandizement, that they would feel like that they would be personally...
Scott, don't tell anyone, but some of their colleagues feel that way.
Well, first of all, I can see why. Second of all, if that's what happened, and if that's what they truly believe, why didn't they go on TV and say that? We went down there to meet with the president to tell him that, hey, anyone who's been critical of you, you should treat us like journalists and not like the enemy. They didn't go on TV and say that. They went on TV and portrayed it much differently. So what I hear you saying in your reporting is they had a motive that they weren't willing to disclose to their audience, which I think should get them more scorn today than they were already getting to begin.
Okay, couple things about this. Brian Stelter. Now, Brian Stelter is probably one of the most irrelevant people on television. If he wanted to be relevant, he would be promoting and supporting what Trump's doing. But, he can't do that. His wife probably would throw him out. And how's he going to find somebody else to sleep with him that he doesn't have to pay? But, the thing with these people in the media that are worried about retribution, there's two types of people. There's the one that Scott Jennings was talking about. Isn't Scott Jennings the name of the guy from Jeopardy, too? Isn't that Scott Jennings? I don't know. But anyway, a lot of people that are self-important, that think that they're so important that the President of the United States and the Attorney General are going to waste their time going after them. There's that group. There's also, they think they're that important. There's also a lot of them who think that all these things are going to happen to them from the government because that's what they've been doing to Trump and his allies and supporters, using the government against them to put them in prison, arrest them, get mugshots, buy off judges, and get women to take scripts from Law and Order and say it was them and all this stuff. So because they're doing it, they're projecting, they think everybody does this, that the Republicans are going to do it. And then there's just a bunch of self-important people. I'll give you two examples of people. There's a lot of people in media that think that it gives them credibility if people want to hurt them or kill them. And I'll give you three examples, and I'll give you the names of two of them. The third one I'm not going to give. I'm going to tell you the story without the name because the third person is still on the air in this market. Okay? And this was a few years ago, and I don't want them injected into my life. I'm going to tell the story without their name. First one, though, I'll tell you, there was a guy that was on 610 WIOD, Grego. Anybody remember Grego? Probably not. He didn't last long. He was the midday guy on 610 WIOD, and he was one of the biggest no talents in the history of the Miami radio market. And that's saying a lot, because there's been a lot of people on the air in Miami and the Miami market. Pretty bad. This guy was the worst, Grego. And Grego's show was going down the tubes, and he knew it, because nobody would call him on his show, and he had replaced somebody they fired who was very big and popular. So there used to be an audience there, and the radio audience, they wouldn't call him, and he would sit there day after day after day, and nobody would call, and he was sitting there, poor Grego, yeah. And he finally got a call, and which was probably a friend of his calling from the production room, you know, and he was going on vacation. Not a good idea. You know, if you're new in the market and you're on the air and you suck and no one's listening, don't take a vacation. But he was going to take a vacation, and his friend from the production room, passing himself off as a caller, said, "Where are you going on vacation?" "I can't tell you." Guy said, "Why not?" "Well, last time I did that, there was a bomb scare, so I can't let that happen." Nobody cares enough about you to do any bomb scares, Greg. He was trying to, if people want to hurt him and blow him up, the show must be hot. It was a whole thing he did. There was another guy, Rick Siderman, who's dead. He died about 15 years ago. He was on the air. He was so, I have worked with a lot of people that have been despicable to me at radio stations, no doubt about it. No one was worse than Rick Siderman. He was really nasty to me, but that's okay. He was really nasty. You guys remember Rick Siderman? He had a speech impediment and was on the air. He talked like this. Remember, he talked like this. He had a deviated septum. Remember Rick Siderman? He was good friends with Steve. Hated me like the plague. And Rick, he always had these things where listeners were trying to take him out. And he took it a step further, though. He didn't take it. He didn't do this on the air. He did. You know what method acting is? It's when someone lives as if it's really happening, right? So he was in the method acting his threats in the parking lot. You're not going to believe this, Mike. I mean, in the parking lot, he had a 300ZX. I remember a 300ZX T-top. He would start his car in the radio station parking lot without his seatbelt on and with the door open. This wasn't even talked about on the air. He did this off the air, right? Because why do you think he did that? Why do you think he did that? Okay, so you know why he did it? He would talk about this off the air all the time. Because a federal agent once told him. Now, this wasn't a federal agent. It was a scene out of Casino, okay? It happened in Casino. He took this scene out of Casino and turned this into this conversation with this federal agent listener. He actually did it. I used to see him do it all the time. And I was like, what a jerk. He would start his car without his seatbelt on and the door open, because if a bomb went off with the door open and without a seatbelt, the blast would blow him out of the car and he would survive. And he used to go around telling people off the air that his listeners were trying to blow him up. Yeah, I'm not making this up. I'm not. You think I'm making this? I'm not. These are people. Now the third person is on the air in this market still. I'm not going to tell you when or what radio station, and if you think you know who I'm talking about, maybe you do, but I'm not going to say. This person was another person. They were always. How can I say without saying their name? Okay. I don't want to say too much because I don't want them injected in my life. They're a poison person. I probably shouldn't even tell this story. This was another person who sucked on the air, and you know what? They still do, even though they're still on the air in this market. And they're Jewish, and the Nazis and the Klansmen were trying to get them and stalking them. And I saw them. I saw the Klans. They're out there. I was going to the car. They were out. The radio station hired an armed security guard to sit in the radio station lobby and protect this person from their fantasies. I used to have to get checked by the guy before they let me in. Every day he would check, who are you? I'm Brian. I'm on the air. Come on, next, after this idiot. You know how much that costs? So these stories of people being threatened, right? The bomb, the Borrego and Siderman, and the person with the fake Klan and Nazis after them and needing armed security. They cost a lot of money, the armed security. It was always people that were about to lose their jobs on the air, and they were trying to give themselves credibility to the management and to the audience that they're so valuable and so good, people want to kill them for giving their opinions on the air. Okay? Now, with that being said, you guys know I've had things happen to me that are for real, okay? I've been swatted, I've been attacked, I've had listeners jump out of the bushes at my house and attack me. I had some lunatics follow me on our last cruise internationally. I've had stalkers on other trips, no one's trying to blow me up, though. But mine are real. But what's going on with the media right now, the liberal media, they're doing the same thing as these idiots some of them I used to work with. Some of them I just knew. And the media, the Scarboroughs, this Brian Stelter, kids, everyone named Brian is except me, is like a liberal jerk, or a dork. Bryan Cranston hates Trump. I thought, well, we got Bryan Cranston, we're okay. Most Bryans are like this Stelter character. So these people in the media are going around pretending that they're going to be victims of this and victims of that to try to save their jobs. That's what's going on here. I've seen it, and I know I could talk all day of people with their fake threats and stuff that I've worked with just here in South Florida. It's a common tactic with people. If people want to hurt you because of what you're saying on the air, you must be really good and important. People want to hurt you. They want to do this. When the real things happen, you don't talk about them. The only things I talk about are like years later, for the most part. You don't talk about the things that really happen. I remember one time Steve went somewhere and half a dozen deputies grabbed him for something. I'm not going to get into the detail. Yeah, deputy. Deputies. Grabbed Steve. Other things too. But that was a long time ago. But that's what's going on in the media. They're scared for their jobs. So they're trying to, what they're doing is they're trying to intimidate their management to keep them on the air on their failing cable news outlets by saying, we're so important, Donald Trump is going to do this to this. We're so important, Matt Gaetz is going to do that to me. We are so important to be on the air that they want to do this other thing to me. You understand? It's all BS. It's all BS. If you're on hold, hang in there. No guessing on who the third person was. I will not confirm or anything, and I won't even tell you their gender. All right. You know what? Let's take our break. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back. Oh, my allergies are acting up today. I forgot to take my allergy medications for a few days, so my allergies are back.
Essentially been a massive political lightning rod here in this country, and you said it there yourself, the president-elect campaigning.
I can't take the pills. They make me too tired. I do one that's a nasal spray. I forget what it's called, but I don't have any drowsiness side effects. I've tried every allergy medication there is. All right, we are back. Let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. I cannot believe it is Thursday already. Time's flying since Trump was reelected. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Matt, Boston.
Hey, Boston. What's up?
Hey, nothing much, man. I'm sorry, you just caught me by surprise here, but no, I was going to say, you were talking about before the break how everyone, is making themselves feel important, but
yes.
I look at it differently. I look at it, though, we've seen what these people have done to Donald Trump, since 2016. Like, I think a lot of them really have legitimate things to worry about.
No, they don't. Wait, slow down for a second. The people in the media do not. The ones that have something to worry about are the government officials that have been misusing their authorities, whether it's Judge Merchan or the attorney. I'm talking specifically about Joe and Mika, Brian Stelter's media buddies. No one in the media has anything to worry about other than dwindling audiences.
Absolutely, but you know what? What told me that the mainstream media was completely out of it is when Tucker Carlson has the #1 show on all these channels, and he gets fired a month after showing the that's just, to me, complete.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about, and I don't know what they showed, but or where they showed it.
The tapes from the Capitol, January.
Well, no, that's not the whole story. Okay. Now, what happened with Tucker Carlson is part of the story. What happened with Tucker Carlson was amazing. Okay. He got a hold of all the January 6th surveillance video from the Capitol, and he had an entire week of programming planned. And when you do something like, I talked about this, you're going to agree with what I'm saying. I'm not really disagreeing with you, but it's more detailed than we said. When you do something like that, he had a 5-night thing. So when you do something like that, you do it in beats. On night 1, because you got 5 nights, okay? So on night 1, you begin with something good, really good. And then the next day you have something that's good, but you start with a bang. You start with something big. You have something good night 2, night 3, something good. Night 4, you do one of two things. You either conclude on Thursday or Friday, and you conclude with your biggest thing. You start with something good to get everyone's attention, then you have some mediocre stuff, and then on the last day, you share your best that exposes everything. On the first night, so he only did one night of the January 6th programming, Tucker Carlson on Fox. On the first night, he started with something very good, but it wasn't his big to-do at the end, because it was the first night. You don't lead with your big thing, okay? Okay, you lead with something to get attention. It was about the shaman, the Viking guy, and he showed how the Senate chamber security guards at the Capitol Police were leading him around looking for that photographer who was waiting inside the Senate chamber. And they found they couldn't get in. There were locked doors, so they walked around the Capitol Police until they found an open door. Then they went in there, and the photographer took the picture. Tucker and what happened was this: the powers that be believed their own crap, that it was an insurrection, that all this stuff are nonsense. And then when that first night happened, and they saw what Tucker had on the first night, they went into a panic and said, "What is he going to have by night 4 or 5?" So he was fired because he found stuff. They didn't think he would. He didn't just get a hold of it. They released it to him because they didn't think there was anything there. And since it was all the materials were owned by Fox and there's non-disclosures and such, we don't know what he was going to do the rest of the week. But and he got that guy, and he got the shaman released from custody out of that. He got let,
You know, 'cause I really like Tucker. I've seen him like on, clips of like people just coming across him in public. He seems like a genuinely nice.
I met him in semi-private. There were like 10 people. And I was shocked at how like normal he is. It was like no ego.
Fly fishing, and he started explaining what he was doing, how he.
Yeah, he's very normal. He's a very normal guy. But the thing is, no one in the media has anything to worry about from Trump. First off, they're not important enough. He's got bigger fish to fry. But you are correct. There are people in the government that have been doing all kinds of crime, and they got a lot to worry about.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Absolutely. I don't think people should be going after like how they say political opponents. But I think if there's wrongdoing, no matter what party it's been done in, it needs to be looked at. So there's a lot of.
Yeah, that's why. Why do you think that? Well, remember what Trump said. They're not doing it to me. They're doing it to you. And that's why they're so afraid of Matt Gaetz, and they come out with all these lies and slanders against him. Because they know Matt Gaetz. Yeah, Matt Gaetz is there's gonna be some justice going on, and people like Letitia and Fannie, they're in trouble. They've been doing crime. All right, appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sandra from Boca.
All right, Sandra, what's up?
Well, I know like a few minutes ago you mentioned the Laken Riley verdict. And actually, I just wanted to say a comment that I really believe he got what he deserved. Because they showed, people kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like this was like really, really a highly publicized case. I think it was really for the United States to see exactly what kind of problem we really have with the border issue.
Well, the media coverage was astounding, but if Kamala would have won, do you think the media would have covered the trial like they did? I mean, when they carried the opening argument, they carried live. When the prosecutor went through, you heard the recordings and her whatever athletic band, when her heart stopped and all that. If Kamala would have won, do you think the media would have covered the trial so much?
I don't think it would have been as intense.
No.
I think from what I understand, he was married.
Oh, the murderer?
Yes. And she was talking to him from prison, like they have the tape when she's talking to him at prison, and she's talking to him in Spanish, and she says, what were you doing? I'm very fed up with you. What are you doing? And he says, I just went there to go get a job. And she's saying, Spanish, you know what? I can't even come down there to visit you because they told me I'm going to get in trouble. So he had a relationship, it seems like, with somebody, but at the same time, he's like looking for women to attack. It's so crazy. The mother, they actually showed now the video of the mother approaching the police. This is real, where she says, I'm her mother, and she's obviously hysterical. She got on the grass. She was sitting on the grass, and she touched the officer's arm, and she said, is she alive? And the officer just kind of gave her this look, Brian, like, I really can't say right now. She just lost.
You know, we used to do, years ago, we used to have as guests in studio people from an organization called Parents of Murdered Children. And this one guy, that ran the group, his daughter was 15. She was murdered by the carpet cleaners at the house. They raped her and murdered her, 15, 13, or something like that. And when you, let me tell you, when you hear a parent, even if it's been 20 years, and they talk about the murder of their child, it's like it's happening right now. You've never seen people grieve and as upset as that, you know. And I've never, it's I can't even describe it. When a parent talks about the murder of their child, and this murderer of Laken Riley, zero remorse in him throughout the entire trial. He's got his headphones on and everything. I mean, he was worse than BTK. You know, BTK, the serial killer, he was so excited hearing that stuff. You could tell he was getting all jazzed up listening to the details. He was so... This guy, you know, no remorse. But the Democrat... Now, I don't know if it's just me, but Biden and Kamala and the Democrats act as if it's justifiable homicide. It's like these illegals are entitled to rape and kill the way they behave in the media and the Democrats. Is that far-fetched? But don't you get a sense of that? Like there's something wrong with us.
I get a sense in the fact that they may even have the common decency to say a statement and say justice was served today for Laken Riley. Nothing.
Because their constituency supports it. You know, like I give you an example, okay? I've talked about this many times on the air. In the 1930s, the Republicans in the Senate went to President Roosevelt and asked President Roosevelt to sign federal anti-lynching legislation. And Roosevelt refused to sign federal anti-lynching legislation. Why do you think that was? It was the 30s. Because the Democrat constituents of his were the ones doing the lynching. And he didn't want to alienate the racist lynchers, so he wouldn't sign it. Well, there's the same thing going on now, right? The reason that Biden and Kamala didn't call Laken Riley's parents is because their constituents support the rapist murderers from the southern border. They don't want to alienate them. I know it's hard to understand and accept that, but it's true.
Well, you know what gets me also is that we become a country where a woman can literally go out for a run, text her mother at 9:03, and be dead by 9:28.
Well, women should not be jogging alone. Women should not be jogging alone. I've said this for years. Even a dog is not enough. In fact, even another woman. You know, listen, these women joggers, they are women that are in peak physical condition, and they get overtaken by these out-of-shape slobs. Okay, men are stronger than women. Second, joggers have a pattern. They go the same route every day, and this guy was a hunter. Okay, women should not be jogging alone or going anywhere alone. You know, when my daughter visits, like she says I got to go to Walmart, I got to get something. It's 9 o'clock at night. I got to get up at 1:30 in the morning. I go with her. I know when she's in LA, she goes alone, but I don't let her go alone here. You know, women should have escorts.
That's very, very true. Now that I'm thinking about what you're saying, I bet you he saw her previously.
Listen, when I come to work in the morning, I see a lot of joggers all over the place, my whole route. Same people every day, same pattern, men and women. It's like clockwork. Women should not go around unescorted anywhere. I'm sorry. Oh, you're sexist. Well, you know, it's not safe.
No, I'm a woman, and I don't think what you're saying is unreasonable based on the times also that we're living in and how she murdered within 20 minutes.
That's right. Listen, I got to run. I'm very late, but I appreciate the call. We'll be right back. Look at these guys. They're right. The peacocks are just ran across the parking lot. Someone must be feeding them over here. They all ran to the same spot. 3 of them, full speed. Another stop. Somebody downstairs in one of those offices feeds them crackers.
Yeah, in the corner over there, right?
Well, I always watch them because they will peck your car. They see if they see the reflection, they'll think it's another peacock and they'll peck your car. Yeah.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walks straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yeah, my mom is awesome now. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on the train for 24 hours, and I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like another woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Tom LaPorta here from LaPorta Contractor, Roofing and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal ceiling, slate tile, and flat roof system. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602, or find us online at LaPortaContracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602. Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness,
Hey guys, first an apology. Brian here, Steve Kane Show. Okay, I'm behind on my schedule because I've been going long during the breaks in this hour, so we're really backed up. That was the bottom of the hour break. I apologize for being so backed up on. Remember, I tell you when I go late, it's like a traffic jam. It'll be tight this hour, but next hour we will be on time. Okay, I just this thing with Laken Riley just gets me upset, and I just lost track of time talking to some of these callers. Did you hear about this liberal florist in Memphis? What a lunatic. Listen to this. Okay, let me pull it up. She's a florist. She's very upset that Trump won re-election, and she goes online on Instagram or whatever and posts this.
I just received an email of somebody who wants flowers for their Yay Trump Won celebration. And I want to make it perfectly clear. Absolutely, in no way will I support that. In no way. Evidently, this is a past client, a parent of a past couple. He asked me if I'm willing to alienate 50% of the population of potential customers. Yes. Yes, I am. That's how strongly I feel about this. I won't do business with people who support the president-elect. And it is because I need to create a safe place for me, my staff, and my family.
Okay, so she has closed down her florist shop, and she said it's because it fits into what I was talking about earlier. Why do you think she closed down? Why do you think she says she closed down her shop, her florist shop? Is it because she's alienated at least half of the potential customers? No, that's not what. She says she's receiving threats. Threats. Republicans don't do that. We are law-abiding people. MAGA people do not call around to make threats. See, anytime these people are in trouble on the left, they claim that they're being threatened. Just like I was talking about with Brian Stelter and his idiot friends in the media. You know, yesterday I got a new iPhone yesterday because I broke. Remember, I was talking about this earlier this week. I broke the back of my iPhone. And I've got Apple Care, which I've never used before. I have it on my computers. I have it on all my phones for years and years and years. So I go to the Apple store because I found out it's covered by Apple Care. So they're replacing the back, and when they were repairing it, they broke the front of the phone. So I had to go back yesterday and get a new phone. And they're pretty left wing over at the Apple store. The Apple geniuses, they're not they're not genius enough to be MAGA. And some of them wear flip-flops. You imagine they let them wear flip-flops while they're working at the Apple store? When I go to certain places, I don't wear my MAGA gear because you never know. You're dealing with liberals in certain places. So yesterday I go to one of the Apple stores. It could be the one in Wellington. It could be the one in Boca, the one in Fort Lauderdale. It could be the one in Miami. I'm not going to say which one because I might have to go back. So I probably shouldn't even tell this story yet. But I go, and so my new phone's ready. I go to get it, and I don't have my MAGA gear on because I know they're left-wing people at the Apple store, you know. And the Apple genius that's helping me, he has a rainbow flag on his name tag. Now, who the hell does that? I mean, you know, I don't have any, flags that I'm married. I don't even wear jewelry. I do wear my wedding ring when I go to certain places, but I don't have my wedding ring on now. I did have it on yesterday. But anyway, he's got a rainbow flag on his name tag. And I'm like, oh gosh, if this guy only knew. So he's helping me set up my iPhone, and I'm thinking, oh boy, when my iPhone pops on, this guy, he's going to be in for a surprise. So he sets up my new iPhone for me, and boom, the wallpaper on my iPhone is the Trump fight right after they shot him. He's got his fist up, fight, covered in blood and all that stuff. And my phone turns on, it lights up, and it's got Trump, just shot by a never Trumper. And I'm looking at this gay guy that's helping me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder what he's thinking. You know, and he didn't say anything, but he was a lot less talkative after that popped up, I'm here to tell you. It's pretty funny. But this lunatic here that only wants to do business with liberals, this woman has put herself out of business, at least temporarily. No one's threatening her, but she told half the customer base, don't come to my business. Who does that? You have to be stupid. You know, listen, this pretty conservative program, but we got a lot of liberal listeners. And we want everybody to listen. I don't care what your gender is, your pronouns, your political affiliations. Listen, call and participate. What kind of person in business tells people in numbers that large, which is about half the population, a little bit more, I don't want your business. I will not do business with you. And another thing, what about this? Where are these liberal civil libertarians that went after those bakers? Remember the bakers that wouldn't make the gay wedding cake? By the way, those Christian bakers were targeted. The lesbian women, they went across town to seek them out, to cause them trouble. And they wouldn't do the gay wedding cake. And I didn't agree with that decision, by the way. I think they were hypocritical. And what I mean by that is, do you think those Christian bakers bake cakes for men that are divorced and are marrying their former mistress? How many adulterers have they have made cakes for that were marrying their former mistresses, right? But the gays, there's a little hypocrisy on that. But anyway, there was also a wedding photographer who got jammed up by these civil libertarians because she wouldn't do a photo shoot at a gay wedding. Remember this? After the bakers? So what about these anti-MAGA florists? ACLU civil libertarians going to go after her for discriminating against people based on their beliefs? And MAGA, we love Trump, so she's discriminating against the people based on their love of Trump, on who they love. Democrats are so tolerant, they won't tolerate anyone who disagrees with them, basically. All right, we'll take our break and be back.
Cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hey, hold on.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show.
All right. It sure is. I'm Brian Craig, and our Trump MAGA victory cruise is just 4 months away. March 30th, we set sail, and on the line, we have our travel agent who handles all of our Steve Kane, Brian Craig MAGA cruises, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. Hey, Ian.
Hey, good morning.
You know, I tell you, this is our 6th cruise. If it wasn't for the shutdowns and lockdowns, it might have been our 8th. I just want to talk a little bit about our cruises. We've been what year did we do our first cruise?
2016.
Oh my good, really? Holy smokes! I didn't realize we set sail in 2016.
Yeah, we sure did on Independence of the Seas.
I remember. Yeah, I remember the ship. Yeah. So we've been doing these cruises for a long time, and what happens with the cruises, we have a private group, and it's a cruise family. We get together once a year, and we have a great time together. And every year, our MAGA cruise family gets bigger and bigger, and we just have a great time. I wanted, though, Ian, to talk a little bit about the ship and why we use Celebrity, and you can give some more details, but I like Celebrity cruise lines for a lot of... The first cruise we went on was Royal Caribbean, and then the second one we went on a Celebrity ship, and we never went back. And there's a couple reasons for me why that is. One, Celebrity are luxury. It's a luxury cruise line, right? I mean, it's an upscale luxury cruise. Yeah, it's a premium upscale luxury cruise line. It's like a yacht. The crew to passenger ratio is higher than most other cruise lines. There's more crew to pamper you than on other cruise lines, right? The the food's spectacular, and I don't dislike kids. My own, I got one, but I don't like going on cruises that's loaded with children. There's maybe half a dozen kids on the entire ship on these celebrity cruise lines, so it's a lot more peaceful and quiet, and you don't have a bunch of screaming kids around. I mean, those are some of the other reasons I like Celebrity. But we're going on the newest ship, the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines. Can you tell people a little bit about the ship?
The Celebrity Ascent, yeah. I mean, it's their newest ship, and even by the time we sail, it'll still be their newest ship. State of the art, the highest technology equipped with Starlink internet, beautiful lounges, locations. I mean, you saw it's flawless spot.
Yeah.
Just came out of the factory.
Yeah. We took a tour a couple of Fridays ago, and when we got on board, I told Ian, I said, it smells like a new car. It's got that new car smell. And it really did. It does. It does. It has the new car smell. Also, this is a private group. You don't have to spend the whole week with our group. You can go and do whatever you want. But all of our events are private. We have private dining every night, onboard activities every day. Our shore excursions are all private, and everything else. And it's a really great time. And we've got a great group of people that go with us. And every year that great group gets larger and larger. And we just have an incredible time. I want to tell you guys this. To join our group, you have to call and book through Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, okay? This is an exclusive private group, and the only way that you are able to join this MAGA group on this MAGA cruise and spend a week with Steve Kane and me and our great MAGA family of cruisers is by calling Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. And I'll tell you, Ian, he has a great relationship with Celebrity Cruise Line. We pick these trips and ships early. We get the lowest price for our group that you'd not be able to take these trips with these excursions and everything at a price anywhere close to what we are able to get. And that includes all of our private activities and all these perks and benefits, including drinks and the Wi-Fi and everything included. So I'm going to give you Ian's number. Now, when you call Ian, if you get his answering machine, leave your name and number. Ian will call you back. Your number is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. Is there anything else we should mention before we go?
Next week's Thanksgiving, and I can't think of a better gift than
absolutely
this for Hanukkah than a MAGA cruise on the latest and greatest celebrity ship.
That's right.
We've had that happen every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Surprise their spouse or their family. And regarding kids, celebrities' philosophy is you don't go for the kids, you go with the kids.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
That means, some people take a Royal Caribbean cruise, and Royal Caribbean's fantastic brand, for the children, for the rock climbing wall, for the celebrity, you go with them. Plenty of great activities, but it's for both.
Yeah, and I'm not into, it's peaceful. I'm on the ship to relax, not to hear someone else's kids scream. But anyway, join us, and we're going to have a great time. We always do. Again, 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, we'll talk soon. All right, take care. All right, now, in the next hour, I'm going to do a little bit of recapping, but there's some new things I want to bring up, too, in the next hour. We will go back to the phones at 1-888-465-2631, and I will be on schedule with our breaks in the next hour. My apologies to you in the audience. It is my fault. I went long with a caller at the first break. I went long at the bottom of the hour, and that's what happened, okay? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Tina from Boca Raton.
Hey, what's up, Boca?
Hi. I have a concern. Yesterday, they voted on an 11th district judge, and we lost that seat because 5 senators, Republican senators, weren't there, and if they had, we could block that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's too late. What are we going to do?
Why would they allow that? I mean,
I'll tell you why. Senators are lazy. They don't do much. They don't have much to do. A lot of senators, they don't even worry about elections because they get elected. They have 6 years, right? They're in there for 6 years. So if they screw up, they figure, they'll forget about it in 4 or 5 years. I agree with you. It sucks. And I know a lot of people that make it, but that's not going to happen when Trump's back in charge.
well, I mean, that's a lifetime appointment.
It is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. I know, it's disgusting. But you know what? In a way, it was a good thing because it'll get them fired up not to let something stupid like that happen again.
Oh, boy. Okay. Thank
All right, appreciate the call. I mean, there's lots to get upset about. I'm not happy about it, but what are you going to do? All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the top, come back with your calls, and got quite a bit more to cover on the program today. I am going to go over some of the Laken Riley stuff again because the Laken Riley I'm really upset about it. It's just heartbreaking, especially when you see the attitude of the left, as if there's something wrong with us for being upset that it happened. These are sick, twisted people on the left. Luckily, we've got adults and Americans back in charge. Okay, callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back after our top of the hour break.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar. WIRK. Number one.
Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Now, everybody loves that she is now.
Thank you, Tim. All righty, we're back. Third hour has begun. Calls on hold standby. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? See what I was telling you, Mike? See what I was telling you? You're on the air once, twice, I tell you. People think I'm stupid, but I'm not. I know what's going on. All right, now, I want to talk a little bit about what the Republicans used to be like. You know what they used to be like? Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley. You know, right now, what's going on with Ukraine and Russia is an attempt to start the Third World War. Now, Putin's not going to allow this to happen because he knows Trump's coming back, all right? But, you know, and this started after the Second World War, but we've seen this, right? Gulf War II, the war in Iraq, lies about weapons of mass destruction. The war in Afghanistan, 20 years, America's longest war, and then we gave the country back to the people that knocked down the buildings. The hell with that disaster. You know, it goes on. Vietnam, it's all about feeding the donors, the military-industrial complex donors. And Nikki Haley is just a disgusting person, but this is what we had before Trump came down the escalator as Republicans. This is her talking about Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Now, everybody loves that she is now saying she's a Republican. But I have always said, let's look at what they've said, what their actions are. DNI, that is the president's top intelligence advisor.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we all know this, Nikki Haley.
They represent the views of 18 separate intelligence agencies and units.
Yeah, you know, there's people that signed off on that letter saying the laptop was Russian disinformation. That's who she's supposed to advise.
It has the authority over $100 billion annual U.S. spy budget. $100 billion U.S. annual spy budget. And it holds sway over which secrets we declassify. That's a big deal. This is a job for an honest broker without any pronounced policy biases. So hold that thought for a second.
Okay. Now, before we get into this is an amazing thing. You know, they've given Nikki Haley a radio show. What she's sharing, you know, when I'm on the air, I might read something from an article, but I don't have anything prepared, nothing. I'm just, you know, off the top of my head what I'm talking about. She's reading a prepared dialogue, because there's a camera, I can see her doing it. You know, who's footing the bill for this propaganda show of Nikki Haley's of starting the Third World War? Military-industrial complex, that's who.
What are the facts about Tulsi Gabbard? She opposed ending the Iran nuclear deal. She opposed sanctions on Iran. She opposed designating the Iran military as terrorists.
Well, even if that's all true, people can change. Like, as an example, I'm sure you and your husband have moved on from the fact that you had sex with men other than him in the family car in the parking lot behind that restaurant or in your state offices and all of that. See, this is what's going on. The reason I share this with Nikki Haley, there's something going on here. And you've got to be very, very well aware of this. Because this is the first documented incident of this, is this new Nikki Haley radio show. MSNBC is about to be sold off by Comcast. There's a lot of left-wing people around the country that are not just losing their shows, but losing their followings. There's been a lot of liberal hosts on online programs that I'm losing followers and subscribers. I don't know what's going on. And I've been telling you that the Democrats and the Never-Trumpers, which are Republicans, have been funding MSNBC and a lot of these left-wing big mouths all over the internet for the last 9 years. Trump now is won re-election. They've all failed. They pulled the money. They're not supporting them anymore. That's why MSNBC is going bye-bye. That's why these liberal people online are losing followers and viewers and subscribers and such. So with this thing with Nikki Haley is the beginning of the new tactic of the Never-Trumpers, the Republican establishment, the military-industrial complex, and the Democrats all working together. They're going to start backing, and Nikki Haley is the first example that I've seen of it so far. If there's others, let me know, but you got to keep an eye out for it. They're going to start backing Republicans like Nikki Haley that are going to try to push us into war and against Trump. So you're going to see like MSNBC will be gone, but there's going to be some conservatives pop up, so-called conservatives, and they're going to be in favor of all these terrible things that this warmonger Nikki Haley is supporting. This is their new tactic, and they've already started. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. I know I will. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tammy, Fort Lauderdale.
I'm going to tell you this, and I know because you're a mental patient, this isn't going to sink in. No, there's no by the ways. I know it's you before I take the call, okay? If you call me one more time today, you will never speak to me again for the rest of my life. I will never talk. If you call one more time, I'm going to admit that. If you call again today or tomorrow, because tomorrow's Friday, you will never speak to me ever again. If you get through, I will not comment. As soon as I hear your cartoon voice, I will hang up on you and dump it so no one listening hears. That's it. All right? Can someone give him Joyce Kaufman's number? She's desperate for calls. He could probably be her co-host. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara calling from Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, I'm really happy to hear you expose Nikki Haley. You know, I am so sick of her. Seeing her and hearing her is like hearing from something from Hillary or Liz Cheney. It's gotten just like that. And she's so irrelevant. And I think she's just missed.
Well, listen, Barbara, you were sitting behind the president when the Never-Trumpers shot him in Butler, okay? And I've told you guys this. The plan that the Never-Trumpers had, the Lord Jesus intervened and saved President Trump, okay? But their plan was the shooter not miss, be a scramble. The convention hadn't happened yet. Nikki Haley was second in the delegate count, and they were going to nominate her to be president. Okay? So, and I think that she knows about that. Okay? So that's what you're dealing with Nikki Haley. There is this resist. Listen, the Republican establishment have fallen from power, but they still are an active group with a lot of money in exile, and Nikki Haley is their spokesperson. These are terrible, evil people. So she is sadly relevant with her man hands and adultery.
Relevant to keep an eye on, but she's irrelevant as far as I believe most Americans are about sick of her. She will never be president for sure.
No, I will never vote for that woman. Never vote for that woman.
But I'm just glad that you're exposing her. And one other thing, if I have time, I'd like to say about Matt Gaetz. I listened to a talk show host yesterday talk about how they knew someone that was on an airplane that they supposedly were going on. And, my first thought was, that's hearsay, and you're supposed to be a Republican, and why the hell are you repeating that?
What did they say? What did they say? What were they talking?
That they thought something was up. That's why they didn't get on the plane. Someone told this.
See, more of this crap, like I've been telling all these people that think they're in danger.
To President Trump. I don't believe anything.
Bunch of self-important people.
Going to get his entire cabinet during recess, and that's that. These people that squawk for the next 2 years, and he's going to get the job done. But anyway, have a great...
Who was that person, by the way? Can you tell me their name?
No, I won't do that.
Oh, well, okay. Well, DM in. I'm curious to know. I appreciate the call. See, another host people want to kill. Get these people. I have, this may surprise you, but I have haters out there. I don't carry a gun. I don't. I'm not supposed, people tell me all this. Steve tells me, you shouldn't tell people you don't pack a gun. And this is what I tell people. If I were to use a gun in self-defense from some weirdo that hates me, chances are they're going to be a liberal. And they might be black. What are they going to do to me if I defend my life against some liberal, especially one that's not white? They're going to bring the 30 years of tapes will be on they'll execute me, okay? I'll be executed, even if it's a self-defense. They'll bring back old Sparky here in Florida. They'll put me in the electric chair and the gas chamber, okay? So I'm better just to try to escape, so I don't even, but these people, not that anyone's tried to hurt me, I'm not alleging, but there's this new trend going on of all these political people telling people that their lives are in danger. Pathetic. Oh, it's I told you I'd be on time this hour. We'll be right back.
Sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hello, it's Scott Shannon with a quick reminder that the oldies are back on the radio.
No, it's not that I don't want people. I love people who disagree with me to call in. That guy's a clown with nothing to say. He's retarded too. I mean, he's mentally retarded. You hear his voice? It's a waste of airtime to talk to that guy. But if he calls again today or tomorrow, and he gets on the air, he'll never talk to me again, ever. Believe me, I mean that. If I didn't want people to call who disagree with me, I wouldn't take the call screenless. I'd have Mike answer the phones.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen listen to Richie the Bus Driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Talk about amazing kielbasa. Crocus Deli in North Lauderdale is a must if you love Polish food. They have a variety of Polish sausage, bacons, Polish cheeses, ham and pork loins, even Polish hot dogs. Crocus Deli has such amazing homemade foods like goulash, pork and bacon, homemade soups, and more. You have to check out Crocus Deli. The bakery is out of this world. Stop by for delicious Polish food. CrocusDeliFL.com for directions or call 954-722-8006.
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. A standard My Pillow, just $14.88. I've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now. Use promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the standard My Pillow for just $14.88. The lowest price ever. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM.
Has the Christmas music started? Has the Christmas music started? Has the Christmas music started it starts today, Monday? 12. Okay, yeah. Well, you know, we're starting this midday music here on True Oldies. You know, that's sponsored by Jupiter Joe Thomas. And he does that every year, and I really appreciate that Jupiter Joe Thomas does that because I love Christmas music, and the Christmas music here on True Oldies is none of that stuff the other radio stations play. Mariah Carey and Bruce Springsteen and all that. It's like real Christmas music that we get here on True Oldies, and Jupiter Joe Thomas sponsors that every year, and that's pretty cool, and I'm glad he does because I do love listening to the real Christmas music that we play. But, you know, Joe Thomas was here yesterday, and you guys really should give him a call. Whether you're retired already or plan on retiring at any point in your life, it could be 5 days from now or 5 years or 20 years from now, call him. You know, it's really amazing because he can take your money and turn it into guaranteed income for the rest of your life. You can never have enough revenue streams, especially in retirement. You know, things come up in retirement just like they do when you're working. You know, my wife and I, our parents are all retired, and there's always something going on. One of our parents has to get a new air conditioning, you know, and things are always going wrong, even when you're retired. Someone's got to get a new car. Expenses still come up, and that extra revenue stream, now risking your money, sounds like a great thing to me. You know, a lot of people have 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, I don't know, CDs, but you know, they do not guarantee you an income stream for life. Annuities do. Give Joe Thomas a call. You know, he offers free phone consultations, which is really an amazing thing. He's a top guy in the industry. His time is very valuable, and he's offering free phone consultations to listeners of our radio station. Give him a call, 561-743-0999, and thank him for sponsoring the good Christmas music here on True Oldies. I really enjoy it. Every year, I look forward to it every year here. It's our third year, our third Christmas together, and I look forward to it. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, let's go to the phones. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
I am. What's on your mind?
Oh, hi, it's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Doing all right.
Listen, this thing with Putin and stuff, and, you know, what he said, why? I don't remember Congress calling war on Russia. Why hasn't Congress stepped in and negate what...
What would you like them to do? Now, keep in mind, the Democrats control the Senate. What would you like Congress to do?
Stop it.
Well, no. I mean, how can they stop it?
Well, maybe, I don't know, pass something.
What are they going to pass? The Senate's still run by the Democrats, and Biden's still, the president. We're not in charge yet. There's nothing we can do.
But the oatmeal brain is putting us into World War III. I mean...
Why do you think they're doing this?
Because they want... I don't know. They want to kill us.
They're trying to... Listen, they had a plan. This Ukraine... I mean, you're old enough, like me, to remember the Cold War. All BS. The Cold War was all BS. All those, the day after, and and all this crap. What they were planning on doing was having another 40-year Russian Cold War with this Ukraine thing. Trump's coming back. It's going to stop. It's going to stop quick. So what they're trying to do is get a hot war started that is so serious Trump won't be able to stop it. But it's not going to happen because Putin is a very smart man, okay? And he knows Trump's coming back, and he knows better. So Putin is not going to let this war break. That doesn't mean he's not going to respond, but it'll be very measured. He's not going to allow World War III to break out, Putin. Zelensky, on the other hand, and the United States, on the other hand, that's another story.
But the thing is, Putin has... warned us about nuclear...
He's not going to do it. He's not going to retaliate. If Trump was not being reelected, if he had not been reelected, it'd be another story. But Putin's not going to mess with Trump. Look, Trump yesterday announced Whitaker to be the U.S. ambassador to NATO. That is one of the most kick-butt... he scares me, and I just see him on TV talking. He's sending Whitaker to NATO to get them in line. It's not going to... It's all. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Trump's got it under control. And Putin and Trump have it under control.
You think he's been talking to Putin?
I know that he had Elon Musk last week have a private one-on-one meeting with the Iranian ambassador to the United States, so I'm assuming he's communicating. He doesn't have to talk to Putin. Putin knows. He doesn't have to talk. Yes, Putin's not stupid. He's been in power for 20-some years, well beyond term limits. He's not stupid. And unlike Zelensky, he's already made his money. Zelensky, I've never seen a leader in my lifetime as sick as Zelensky, who is trying to prolong a war that there's no hope in winning. He's a sicko.
He's not even a true president because he's past his terms.
That's right. He's past his term. He's ruling under martial law. He suspended elections, just like Castro did.
Dictator. He's a dictator.
But we're fighting for democracy, don't you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Don't worry. He won't be president long. They're going to have an election. Listen, it's going to the money's going to get cut off. And you know what? And if NATO's money's going to get cut off too. That's how Trump's going to do everything. You don't do what he wants, you're going to get cut off. Same goes for Arizona, by the way. If you obstruct the deportations, Arizona's getting cut off too.
But what's amazing is we are in such a deficit. How can we keep giving money to other countries?
The money doesn't even exist. It's all electronic. They just add zeros on computers.
Thing is, if your checkbook was at zero and my checkbook was zero, could we go to the grocery?
But we don't have machines that make money.
Guess you're right.
But Elon Musk is coming back with the Doge and Department of Government Accountability, and he's going to take care of it.
Fire those 86,000 new IRS.
Yeah, they're not even going to report to work. It's not going to happen. Everything's under control. Trump won. You're aware of that, right?
Yes, I am totally aware of that, and I totally voted for him.
So what are you worried about?
I don't know.
Does Trump say? Does? Let me ask you this: when you see President Trump on TV, does he look worried?
Well, I haven't seen him lately.
Well, then you're not watching. I see him all the time. You're always a nervous Nelly, doom and gloomer. Every time you call, you're always depressed. Are you on any medications for depression?
But
have you ever sought therapy for depression? Because you sound like a clinically depressed person. I'm not attacking you, but you're always miserable and depressed.
It's just that Putin, he's very unpredictable.
No, he's not. He's very predictable.
Well, then why did he make his statement?
Okay, listen, because they're launching rockets into Mother Russia. Okay, who was president when Putin invaded Ukraine?
Biden.
Who was president when Putin took over Crimea, which is the southern peninsula of Ukraine?
Obama.
Okay, when Donald Trump was president, what did Putin invade?
Nothing.
Exactly.
But
he knows not to mess with Trump. Fine. Everything's fine. And now if Kamala would have won and we had this wino coming in as president-elect right now, we'd be in big trouble.
True.
But you really should seek therapy. I'm not attacking you. You are always. I'm trying to help you. I'm not making fun of you or anything. I'm serious. Has anyone in your family or friends ever told you you're like depressed a lot?
No.
Okay.
Really very happy.
Not when you call me. I've never heard you happy.
Well, there were times that I'm happy, but
short spurts.
It kind of gives me the willies because I did live through the Cold War.
Cold War was complete BS, all lies.
No, but the thing is, it's still in my mind.
During the, people forget about the Cold War. Like Mike, our boy, he's too young to remember all this stuff. When the Cold War was going on, they led us to believe, this is what I thought, like when I was in elementary through high school, that the Soviet Union was just like us, except they were communist, right? They were just as advanced and sophisticated and as beautiful as America is. Russia's a third world country. It always has been. Most of their roads were not even paved during the Soviet Union era, right? They were still dealing with electrification when the wall fell down in parts of the Soviet Union. It was all lies to feed the military-industrial complex. I wouldn't be surprised if we put the damn wall up to hide how terrible it was on the other side. It wouldn't surprise me. All right, take care. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024, and right now it's 69 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 76 degrees with partly cloudy conditions to mostly sunny conditions as we go throughout the day. So make sure you stay cool, stay hydrated, and have a wonderful start to your Thursday.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
In Lake Worth, a crash has a right shoulder block to 95 South, approaching 6th Avenue South. You're heavy from Southern Boulevard. You can take Congress Avenue as your alternate. In Delray Beach, a crash has 2 left lanes blocked to 95 North past Atlantic Avenue. This traffic update is sponsored by eBay Motors. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you love.
Hey guys,
That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime.
I'm putting the link back in to my other YouTube channel. That's a link to a video I put up yesterday. So check that out, guys, and if you don't mind, sub to my other channel if you don't mind.
I'm calling because several weeks ago I had a lot of pain on my knees and I went to see Dr. F.
He relieves me from my knee pains. I can walk. And this week I went to see him. I had excruciating pain in my hand, and I had a treatment. And I just want to say out there to everyone, it works. It really works. I am pain-free from my hand. He's amazing. Friendly staff. He's wonderful. And I highly recommend him. And thank you so much for the recommendation. I'm very grateful.
Call Dr. Appleton right now and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Medicare recipients, listen up. Open enrollment is the only time of year you can make changes to your existing Medicare plan. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, no matter where you're located in the state of Florida, for expert help this open enrollment period. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Yeah, but sub to the channel. I put the link to the video in there, but... Yeah, on that other channel, that I'm holding my longboard that I've had all the accidents on. My skateboard, that's it. I got it over my shoulder there. And on the other channel, the mainstream woman channel, and the shirt I'm wearing in that picture where I got the skateboard on my shoulder, that's a shirt that I saw Pete Hegseth wearing. That is the coolest shirt about the moon landing. I wore it so much I wore it out. I got to get another one. Well, thank you for subbing to my other channel. Appreciate it, guys. I do different things on that channel. I talk, I vlog. I talk about other YouTubers. In fact, I'm going to talk about. I might do a video. There's 3 YouTubers I want to do a video on. One of them is Adam the Woo. They gave me a brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max. A brand new one of 2 phones ago, out of the box. Now, I got the new phone. That's why I'm not live streaming. Like, I use my phone as my camera. My new phone's not connected to my computer. Yeah, I like gossip, too. I know it's not supposed to gossip, but I enjoy gossiping. There's 3 YouTubers I want to talk about. Adam the Woo, who I've met a few times. I like Adam the Woo. He knows me a little bit. And 2 other YouTubers, Sarasota Tim, and there's another YouTuber, Dodash. Does anyone know Dodash? D-O-U-G-H, Dodash? Oh my goodness. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, IB, what's up?
Just to be straight up honest, if I was Russia, I would feel like I've been bullied for the last 20 years because we can go back to the Russian dossier and we can go to the Hunter Biden's laptop. We can go to the moon.
Well, I'll just tell you this. Let me tell you about this whole thing in Ukraine. This is crazy to me. Okay? Back in the Cold War, during Reagan's time, there were always these summit meetings with the Russian leader to prevent wars. Right? I mean, that's what we did. There has not been Even during Vietnam, there were years of peace talks in Paris. Even during the Korean War, there were nonstop peace talks during the Korean War. There hasn't been one conversation during this war to end it because they don't want to end it. They want it to go on forever.
Now, that's it in a nutshell. So you people have to understand, America is the only country that has a separate company to control our money. All other countries, a government, control their currency. Our government does not control.
All right. Open phones is tomorrow, and the Fed bores me. I'm sorry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Freedom Effect, Washington State.
Washington State. What's up?
Oh, well, I was just listening to everything. I'm more concerned. Yeah, I don't think the country's ever been more divided. It's more divided today than it ever was in 1882.
No, it's not. You're out of your mind. How many times a day do you tell that nonsense to people? You're aware about almost a dozen counties in California flipped to MAGA, went red in California. A bunch of counties in New York. I was reading an article, I can't remember where this was. There was one county that Trump won that in 2020 he lost like 90% of the votes in that county. The country is very much united. Look, the NFL, Mike was telling me, the NFL even said that it's okay for the players to do the Trump dance in the end zone. No, the country is very united behind Trump.
Well, that's a good point. I never really thought of it that way.
You just like to go around talking about the Civil War.
No, I'm just talking about this election. I mean, we certainly didn't see that happen in the last election. I agree with you that there's definitely been a big change, and maybe people are waking up.
Oh, so so your whole thing that the country is divided is keep in mind, more than 1862, which is insane. You know, the Democrat insurrection of the Civil War. I mean, come on.
It was, but this election, definitely something happened. You know, I don't know if it was the young kids that were started voting more.
Let me tell you a bunch of things happened. Okay, one is the massive inflation. People cannot afford basic necessities. That's one thing. Two, our country is being attacked and is being invaded, and they're coming here by the millions, raping and murdering our women and victimizing people. That's another thing that's happened. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened. The country, and people spent 4 years living under a Democrat president, and it's bad. That's what happened. The country is very united. Don't let anybody tell you the country is not united.
And I agree. I mean, now that you said it with bringing up that, yes, the popular vote, people are snapping out of their comas.
President Trump won every swing state and the popular vote. Think about that.
Yeah, I'm acquiescing to you, but I'm not too sure, how what we do about the media. When the FCC is...
No, you don't want them. You don't do anything about the media. What do you want to do with the media?
You can't have the media out there telling half-truths and lies to people.
Sure you can. Listen, it's called the First Amendment of the United States Constitution.
Understand.
Oh,
look, you have hold on, Brian. You have the right to speak. But you don't have the right to broadcast.
That's not true. Listen, here's the deal. None of what you... That's speak...
News agency.
Most of them are cable. It doesn't apply, or online. It doesn't apply. You're a conservative, right?
Absolutely.
So you want more government control over it is the liberal fantasy. They would listen. Don't you understand? Don't you understand that what the left want and what the Nikki Haleys want in the Republican establishment, they want the FCC to have jurisdiction over Twitter and the internet and YouTube and all these things, like they do over radio and television. Why do you think? Let me ask you this: Why do you think that there's licenses for radio stations and TV stations, the broadcast channels. How do you think that happened?
Well, I imagine it was to broadcast, being able for emergencies to broadcast.
No, not at all. Not at all. Franklin Roosevelt is famous for some things, but one of the things Franklin Roosevelt became president in 1933. Remember, this egomaniac Democrat got elected 4 times. Okay, what did he use to get elected? He used when he was running for president in 1933. Franklin Roosevelt was the first presidential candidate to use the Twitter of the day. What was it that got him elected?
The Twitter of the day?
The Twitter of 1932 was not the newspapers. No. Radio. Radio. He used radio like President Kennedy used TV and President Trump used social media, okay? And when he was elected, there was no licensing of radio back in these days, okay? There was no licensing. It was why should there be? You own the transmitter, you own the building, you own the equipment. And when Roosevelt got into power, he used radio to push his socialist agenda of the New Deal and pretending he didn't know about Pearl Harbor and all that stuff. So he understood the power of radio, so he came up with this insane communist idea that the airwaves belong to the public and they regulated it to control it. And then when TV came around, they did the same thing to that. You do not want the government to have control over the internet, over any streaming, over podcast, over social media, nothing. That's their dream. Now, so far as what are we going to do with them? MSNBC is about to go out of business. They're going to sell it. Why is MSNBC being... what?
It definitely is.
Okay, so why has MSNBC failed?
Well, I would imagine that a lot of people don't buy their bullshit.
Oh my gosh! The guy wants regulations. He wants regulations on what people say, and then he uses profanity. Okay, oh my goodness. The reason MSNBC is failing and being sold off is because, don't you love this guy? He wants to control people's speech, and then he uses profanity. Nice guy. Only time I had to use the dump button today, though, so you guys have been on good behavior. MSNBC has failed because the consumer of the product of news isn't using them. So you don't want the government to regulate media that you don't like what they're saying. You let the capitalist system work. The consumer will decide what they want to consume. Our listenership is up on this program over 300% since the election. Now, I expect the week of the election to have a big boost. But after, sometimes, it's still a boost, but not as big. Our audience has been growing since Trump was elected, since after the election. More people finding us, I don't know. But it's growing. The consumers decide. MSNBC is not failing because the government shut down their liberal crap. It's failing because the consumers have shut them off. All right. Oh, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
The metals looking still very strong. They're giving us... some nice gains yesterday. Gold up $18.80, closing out the day at $2,649.60 the ounce, trading in a range of $26.17 on the low and $26.55 on the high. Silver was down 38 cents at $30.80 the ounce. Platinum lost $12 at $9.59, and palladium was down $14 at $1,006. The rally continues with gold trading overnight in a range of $26.47 to $26.74. And right now, gold's up $16.40 at $2,666. Silver up 20 cents at $31 the ounce. Platinum gaining $1 right now at $9.60, and palladium up $14 at $1,020. So gold continues to lead the way higher on all of the precious metals. And that's because it's the only real money left in the world. So
that's right.
Let's continue to recognize that. And after 5,000 years of history, if you haven't learned that, you're going to be very disappointed where your assets are at the end of this period.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and when it comes to gold, gold comes in many different forms. Of course, we often talk about the 1 ounce gold coins and the fractional gold coins from the major mints. But you also have gold in bar form that's all different kinds of sizes. That really some good deals on gold bars of these different sizes. Can you tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have gold in 1 gram bars, 5 gram bars, 10, 20, and even 100 gram bars. So we have them in all different sizes. We also have 1 ounce gold bars, 10 ounce gold bars, and kilo gold bars, 32.15.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's what I get for my Christmas bonus from Steve every year, that kilo gold bar. And now these gold bars, though, the 1 ounce gold bars and smaller, they come in. What do you call those? I don't know. It's not capsulized. They come in these cards. What are those?
Right, they come with they're encased in a card like that protects them and has the authentication for the bar and the number on the bar and everything. So it's a safety thing for just to assure you that you're getting what you're paying for.
Absolutely. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call, toll free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. You can stop in, and if you can stop in, you should, because William Youngerman's it's a literal museum. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
From Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Brian, how are you today? You know, one of our past presidents who had a very strong military background, President Eisenhower, took the time to warn us about this military-industrial complex. We're still dealing with it today, and I think maybe we always will. Can we make a case, say we go back to the Vietnam War, to the Afghan War, to the Iraq War, to the current Russia-Ukraine war, can we make a case that these military-industrial entities aren't really fighting wars, they're just playing Moneyball?
Listen, every single war since the Spanish-American War in 1898 was built on complete crap, okay? And even Pearl Harbor, I was never, before I saw what they did to Trump, I didn't buy any of these government conspiracies or any of that, and now I believe them all. And I give you an example at Pearl Harbor, because I made a reference to that creep Roosevelt. The ships that were sunk at Pearl Harbor were old World War I era ships. Our new ships, the aircraft carriers, were at sea, and none of them were damaged. They didn't do so well in Midway, some of them, but they weren't there. Our modern ships were not in the harbor, only a bunch of old rust buckets. What a coincidence, huh?
I knew it was coming.
I think he did.
I think he did too. I think he did too, yeah, absolutely. Afghanistan for 21 years to blow some poppy fields?
We had people in combat that were born after 9/11 when that ended. Think about that.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's just Moneyball. And the loss of life is irrelevant to these people. These people are evil people. And it's just make the money, have the power, and that's it, regardless of who gets killed or whatever.
Well, that's how they... Listen, Nikki Haley, when she left office as the ambassador with Trump, she was broke. She owned her parents' house, which I've heard reported was facing foreclosure. Now she's a millionaire from the military-industrial complex, a multimillionaire, and is living a debt-free multimillionaire life. And what is she doing? She's pushing for war all the time with her man hands on. The
Cheneys, the poster family for wars.
They're they're war criminals. I mean, these are sick people. You know, I feel so bad. You know, I remember my dad, he's a Vietnam veteran, and he had I didn't know that, I don't know if they still do this, but he went to Parris Island in 68. And they had the equivalent of a yearbook. I was going through his yearbook, and he was showing me this one guy who enlisted to go to Vietnam. He had to get some operation on his head so he could qualify to enlist in the Marines, and he got killed over there. And, that war went on for a decade. You mean to tell me the country that beat Hitler and the Japs, we had to be there for 10 years? That war, exactly. Give me with no tech or Afghanistan for 20 years? Give me a freaking break. All these wars are to feed just like they're doing right now, attempting to do. That's why Trump's sending Whitaker to be the ambassador to NATO to take charge of NATO. You think I can't wait to see Whitaker over there with NATO.
Very impressive guy. I thought he might get the Attorney General thing, but I think he's going to be more useful as the ambassador.
He's scary as hell. I watch him on TV. I wouldn't mess with Whitaker. He scares me.
I think he was a tight end on the University of Iowa football team.
There you go.
Guy.
A real football player, not like... No, he's tough. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. Before we go to the phones, I want to ask you this. Is you and your family, are you guys drinking toxic water in your home? Are you cooking with toxic water? Are you bathing with toxic water? I was. I did not know it until Rocky from Angel Water came out and tested my water and told me what was in it. I was in shock. In fact, Rocky, we're standing in my kitchen. He gives me the results of what's in my water, and my wife wasn't there. I said, hey, Rocky, can you not share these results with my wife until we get the follow-up results after the water filtration system's in, and we could show her the good results? And then, because I said, if you show her this now before the system's in, she's going to be really ticked off at me. He said, sure, okay, Brian. Well, it was that bad, but not anymore. That Angel Water water filtration system, my water is perfection now. It filters out all the water in my house before it enters my home. So all the water in my house, my washing machine, dishwasher, all my appliances, my sinks, my showers, my bathtubs, even my toilets, is water that's been filtered by the Angel Water water purification system. You can feel the difference when you shower. You can feel the difference when you wash my clothes. I tell you, I keep clothes and things until they wear out and have holes in them. My clothes, some of them I've had for years, they're like brand new because the Angel Water is real water that is clean and pure, and it's cleaning the dishes and the clothes like never before. It's amazing. The Angel Water water filtration system also takes out things that other filtration systems do not, and they have an incredible offer. Angel Water is going to give you a free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a whole house refiner. I have both of those, by the way. You will love it. So give them a call. Rocky, he's a good MAGA guy. He's going to come out to your house and test your water at no charge, just like he did my water. 561-899-6585. By the way, this makes a great gift for the holiday season. We have had listeners that have gotten the Angel Water water filtration system for family members as a gift. It's a great gift. 561-899-6585. 561-899-6585 for Angel Water. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. I can.
Yes. This is LS Cares. I just want to give a shout out, first of all, to all and Patriot family. I thank God. We got to give a special thanks to the Brian Craig Show.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian Craig. I am LS Cares. 31.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if I could pop one of my business.
Well, I don't know. You got to DM me on social media first what it is, and I'll take a look. I don't want to promise that in advance because I don't know what it is. It could be adult sex toys. I know it's not, but it could be. It could be Nazi flags. You got to send it to me first. You got to send it to me first. Okay. Then I'll do it. Then I might do a shot. All right, appreciate that. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I told you this is the last time you will ever talk to me. I knew it was you, and yes, you're banned. You're banned. Yes, you just did it. And I knew he'd been on hold, by the way, for 45 minutes. I saw him there the whole time, and I saved him for the end. Because I was trying to save him by him thinking, but that's it. We'll never talk again. Oh, well, that's life. Now, tomorrow is Friday. Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. On Friday, the show prep is up to you guys. I'm still going to prepare, okay? But On Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to talk about what I bring up on Friday's show or Steve. It is open phones on Friday, open Maga Mike Friday. And we do that every Friday, and tomorrow's Friday already. Now, as we end, though, there's a couple things I want to say. You know, a lot of these doomsayers, like that one lady about, don't worry about any of these things. Everything is under control. Now, God help us if Kamala Harris would have won. If Kamala Harris would have won, I'd be on the air depressed. I'd be very worried. I'd be frightened. I'd be scared. And I'd probably be facing bankruptcy like the rest of the country, okay? You have nothing to worry about. This thing, Putin is not going to let them start World War III. It's insane that the government of this country is working very hard right now to start the Third World War, but it's not going to happen. You have nothing to worry about with that. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be launching rockets back and forth over there. Ukraine's going to poke the bear and try to get something going. You know, Zelensky's panicked. You know, what Zelensky, you know what I think Zelensky's most afraid of right now? Is that Elon Musk, when he starts auditing the government, that he's going to audit the Ukraine money. Now, if I could ask Elon Musk to start anywhere, I would like him to start with an audit of the money we've sent to Ukraine and where Ukraine has spent the money. Wouldn't you like that audit? That would be a great one. And Zelensky, he's afraid of that as much as he's afraid of them cutting off the money. That's all the time we have for today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'm Brian Craig. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Take care. And if you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right?